welcome back to the channel. My name is Priscilla. I am a New York-based flight attendant working with a major US and international airline company. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to become part of the family. My goal is to drop at least one video a week, so please stay in touch by hitting that subscribe button to becoming part of the family. I wanted to start this new series where I delve into my bi-week paycheck as a flight attendant, what I actually make every 2 weeks as a flight attendant based on the work that I do. In the past, I don't necessarily share my take-home pay because I have deductions that come out of my check that might potentially lower them than normal and not give you, the potential flight attendant or somebody who's considering switching airlines, for example, a better picture of what my earnings are. So some of the things to note is that I have been a flight attendant for 3 years. I hit my 3-year anniversary 13th March 2026. However, I did take some time off in 2025. That actually pushed my pay anniversary forward a bit, right? So essentially, although I hit 30-year in March 13th, 2026, my 3rd-year pay won't actually start until January 5th, 2027. But just keep note that even though I've been flying for 3 years, my pay right now is still set at 2nd-year pay, which is $46.65. That is my hourly pay. That is my flight time pay. Flight time pay is the time we spend when we're in the plane actually working and serving our clients and stuff like that. That's when you earn flight time pay, essentially. Then we have layover pay. Layover pay is $3.30, and boarding pay at the year that I'm at right now, which is the 2nd year, my boarding pay is $13.88. We are scheduled to get a pay increase on 1st June, but by the time when I did this work, I was still earning the pay prior to that raise. So please take note of that as well. The pay period that I do want to talk about is between 9th May and 22nd May. So during this pay period, which is May 9th to May 22nd, I actually worked only one trip. It was a domestic 3-day trip that started on May 19th and ended on May 22nd, 2026. In total, I worked 6 flights. I'm talking about the number of flights because they correlate with the boarding pay that I will receive. So with regards to my flight hours, which is the amount of hours that I actually spent in the air, in the plane, working, serving customers, and that is paid at the $41.65, which is the flight attendant hourly pay rate. The total amount of hours that I actually spent in flight was 17 hours and 47 minutes. And the rate at which that was paid at was $41.65. So the total flight hours that I worked was 17 hours and 47 cents. And just with that alone, I earned $740.67. Before I proceed, you might be confused if you're not really familiar with flight attendant pay. However, please take note that I have a full playlist on flight attendant pay in the description box below. I have a video specifically talking about flight attendant pay breakdown, explaining the components of our pay. The other part of my pay, obviously, is the boarding pay. So 6 flights at a rate of $13.88 put my boarding pay at $83.28. Layover pay, the amount of hours that I spent away from my base, is set at $3.30. Although we are getting paid for all the time we're spending away from base, it is not at the rate at which our hourly flight attendant pay rate is at, right? Because most of the time, although you're away for 40 hours, you're not on the plane for 40 hours. So that's where the pay differences comes in. So in this case, I was away for 41 hours and 17 minutes, and the layover pay for the 41 hours and 17 minutes was $136.24. So let's recap. My flight time pay was $740.67. Boarding pay for the 6 flights that I worked total up to $83.28. My layover pay was $136.24. We had a few delays here and there. That delay was paid at a rate of $15. So that gave me an additional pay of $25 because our holding time was 1 hour 40 minutes. In grand total, I made $985.19 at 2nd year flight attendant pay rate for a 3-day trip that was worth 17 hours and 47 minutes. Your girl made $985.19. This is prior to any sort of deductions or payments that I had to make to my 401k or whatever. A rule of thumb is that when you hear this pay amount that I've just mentioned, right, to get a better perspective of what you might potentially take home, I will say assume that about 15 to 20 to 30% of this amount would go towards taxes, deductions. However, in my case, after whatever deductions that I had, my actual take-home pay was $818. So before taxes and deductions, it was $985.19, but my actual take-home pay was $813. So essentially, I worked one trip and made $813 at second tier flight attendant pay rate. Remember, every airline is different. Every airline's pay structure and components are different. But with regards to my airline, this is what I made. Your girl made a whopping $813. That was my actual net income for May 9th to May 22nd. Remember, I only worked one trip. So assuming I worked the same trip twice, I would have made about $1,626. As to whether this is enough or not, that is for you to judge. But yeah, guys, that's what your girl made. I worked 17 hours, although I was away for 41 hours, grossed at $985.19 and netted at $813 even. So let me know your thoughts are in the comment section below. How different is your airline's pay structure from mine? If you guys have more questions, like I said, I have a full playlist in the description box about flight attendant pay. I talk about it a lot. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below as well. Thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.